Now, the third reason why I started supplementing my raw foods diet with some heat processed foods is probably one of the most important for me. It's so that I could eat a more nutrient dense diet, right?
Because of the way we have been taught nutrition, which has almost completely been through television advertisements and other types of advertisements. The exposure to them, we've learned more of our nutrition that way than any other way, except for the very few people who've actually studied nutrition. Our exposure tells us to learn about nutrition by the nutrient, and our exposure tells us that more is better. And so oatmeal with fiber added is really good because of the fiber, or some some kids fruit drink, artificially flavored fruit drink, is better for us because it contains ascorbic acid from acerola cherries. And we get ultra specific in our nutrient. Well, I eat the fish for the omega-3, as if that was the only thing in the fish rather than the million other nutrients and anti-nutrients that are in there. Uh, our agenda is we want more. More is better. Let's understand first the definition of malnutrition, which is too little or too much of any nutrient, or nutrient imbalances, basically resulting in nutrient imbalances, too much or too little of any nutrient. More doesn't equate to better. It would be like if you wore size 10 shoes and somebody got you a great deal on a pair of size 20s. More isn't better. In the world of nutrition, more vitamin A results in death. It's called hypervitaminosis A, and you die. More vitamin C than you need does not result in death. This is a water-soluble vitamin, but in order to get rid of it, your bowel movement defecation turns to liquid. So diarrhea is the upper limit of how much vitamin C you can absorb. Take more than that, you end up with diarrhea. Too much vitamin D and you die. Too much vitamin E and you die. Too much vitamin K and you die. More iron than you need, and you're so severely constipated that you would make a commitment to yourself to never supplement with iron again. And on through a list of nutrients. Too much iodine results in the exact same symptoms as too little iodine, making the diagnosis really challenging. And lots of other nutrients are tough to pick out whether we have too much or too little, or just the right amount, because we don't even have a way of measuring them, of how much is in us or how much is coming out of us. We don't really have good measurement systems. But we do have some very smart scientists who have studied nutrition for over 100 years and come up with systems for evaluating the nutritional value of various foods, and thus creating standards of quantities and foods that would fit those standards in order for us to meet our needs. So in a very Goldilocks, not too much, not too little, just right concept, which is what medicine is famous for. Virtually all blood tests, we're looking for not too much, not too little. We don't want to be low or high in anything. We want to fit into the middle parameters. To think that nutrition would be any different wouldn't make any sense, since it's nutrition that we're measuring in the blood tests. I'm certainly not looking for more of this, that, or any other nutrient. This is an artificial concept that's been foisted upon unsuspecting consumers so frequently that it became the normal way to think. It became the average way that people think. It became what people started using as their standard, to the point where people like John Kohler could fall for it, not realizing that it was a trap in the first place, that we're not looking for more. We're looking for an array of nutrients in quantities that most perfectly match our nutritional needs from our food. We want the foods that supply the nutrients we need in the quantities we need them. And more would be a detriment. More would be defined as malnourishment, and more would always be a problem. More would be too much. So I'm not looking for increased nutrient density from my food. I'm looking for nutrient density that most closely mimics my needs. And we find that by eating foods that are species specific, which we can understand through the law of similars that states that all creatures that are anatomically and physiologically similar thrive on similar foods. All of the anthropoid primates thrive primarily, the bulk of their food, usually 99% of calories, but maybe some of them it's 98.5. I don't know, but for most it's about 99% of their calories come from fruits and vegetables. Why doesn't it all? Well, because they can't always get everything they want. They can't, I've never seen a gorilla walk in a grocery store. They don't have access to storage of food. Chimpanzees don't make silos, and orangutans don't have access to a freezer. So we have access to lots of ways to keep a ready and steady supply of food available to us at all times. We can eat food that is perfectly adapted to our nutrient needs. We can eat the foods that are biologically perfect for us, which are fruits and vegetables, whole, fresh, ripe, or organic plants. And if you fall into the idea of needing more, chances are, as my mentor Ron Camp used to say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And if you're going to fall for that nutritional little misdirection sleight of hand, you'll probably fall for some other nutritional misdirection sleight of hands that are out there and exist, and we will have the opportunity to talk about them during this ongoing interview series.